Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma, and I am still a little nasally, but not quite so much. Joined here by my not so nasally, but Elmo singing friend, one Mr. Brian E. Roach. Brian, like, what's going on?
La 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 la. Elmo's World.
Oh my God, it's too. I haven't had enough coffee to be able to deal with this just yet, and it's that's the way I feel about. It's the way I feel about the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there in Cleveland world, but we've got a game finally.
Well, they're not singing la 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 la.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
No, they're not. Well, who knows? They might be. Maybe the guys who just left from there, who we'll cover in a moment, but they might be singing
he
la la
might
la.
be, but the rest of the team is going.
Few of them.
Cleveland World.
Cleveland. I almost sound like I almost got the Patrick Starfish thing going. I can almost do it nasally, like.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, SpongeBob. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, and if you didn't, it may ruin or spoil your life forever. You remember the TV show Coach back in the day? Yes. With what was it, Craig T. Nelson? Well, the guy who played now I can't think of his name, but you know him.
The big dumb guy.
Yeah, well, I didn't want him called big. He's the voice of Patrick Starfish, so.
I think I knew that.
You could line that up. It's kind of like it's kind of like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince doing the voice of the Shredder, which will also mess with people from my age bracket, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But why? Why does it mess with? Who cares?
I don't know, because I don't know, because it does. Because now if I watch, it's not even just watching Ninja Turtles and being like, oh, that's Uncle Phil. It's watching Fresh Prince and, you know, a young Will Smith there, and it's like, oh, well, Master Shredder's all over him, so.
I think you have difficulty separating your TV watching.
Hey, you know, it feels like forever. We had, I don't want to say odd, it was awesome, but it wasn't your run-of-the-mill football Sunday in Ireland, and then we had a week off, of which I was tortured to watch. Actually, I quite enjoyed the three games that were back to back out of the AFC North and the fallout from that. We've got a 1-4 Cleveland Browns team that is coming over from facing. This is like, I wonder if this happens very often. The Steelers' last opponent was the Vikings. The Browns' last opponent was the Vikings. Like, it maybe it does because of bye weeks, but and they both played overseas. But the Browns, and they're just crying about it, the Cleveland fans, let me tell you. This isn't fair. The Browns just played in London. They just played in the UK. Why do they got to go? Now they got to go play another road game and play in Pittsburgh. Hey, where's the tiniest violin at, Brian, about last year? What was that? The 3 games, 11 days against the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Ravens. You will not get any sympathy, empathy, whatever you want from us when it comes to schedule making.
Oh yeah, this is all I'm gonna say. Shut up and just keep your march towards the number 1 pick.
Yeah, they'll screw that up too. So, and rightfully so. They're getting to it. Let's go through some series history before I get to that number 1 pick deal, because Sunday's game is the 148th overall, 145th regular season meeting between the Steelers and the Browns. The Steelers own an 18-game advantage in this series, 82, 64, and 1 tie overall. 17 of those games in the regular season. 76th meeting in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have a 31-game advantage when playing the game in Pittsburgh. So overwhelming.
Let me ask a quick question though.
Yeah.
You said 17 games in the regular season. Did you mean 17 games in the postseason?
17-game lead in the regular season series.
In the regular season.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry if that didn't come off properly, but
just was confusing me. You know, it's easy to do.
Yeah, well, that happens. The 9.58 win percentage against the Browns at Acrisure Stadium is the 3rd best in NFL history for a team versus a single opponent at a single stadium with a minimum of 10 games played. Steelers last defeated the Browns on December 8th, 2024. Of course, we know the Browns won the game. Prior to that, in the snow, Russell Wilson, all that fun stuff back then. And have the mighty have fallen. Russell Wilson. I don't know if you caught the Thursday night game, but Jackson Dart left for like a short minute. And he hands off, and you see Dayball on the sideline. I don't think I've ever seen people. I don't know if they're allowed to go in the medical tent, the blue tent. But there were people rifling in and out, and Dayball's like, "Get him the hell out of here!" Like you're like, you could lip read them, and it's like a third in distance, like 6, 7, 8 yards, right? And so they allow Wilson to throw a pass. I don't know where this fluttering duck went to, but the New York fans were rabidly booing him. It only took 2 plays for them to go from somewhat happy and they're up by 10 points on the defending Super Bowl champions to incessantly ready to burn the stadium down. So that was fun.
And what's happened to the Eagles? Everybody was talking about them as like, they're like, they're unstoppable. They're going to win the Super Bowl again. And then they lose 2 in a row. Wow. Yeah.
I actually picked them to lose the previous game. The Seahawks.
Tampa Bay?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Tampa. Who beat them? No, Tampa won last second against Seattle.
Seahawks. Yeah, Tampa beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Who beat the Eagles last week?
I got to go back and look now. It's not off the top of my brain. I have it in front of me. Hold on one second.
Chiefs. Was it? No, I don't know.
No, the Chiefs lost to the Jaguars on Monday night. It was
that was embarrassing too.
The Denver Broncos, which I should have known.
The Broncos, the Broncos.
My good friend. I actually had that game on the same time as I was actually watching that more than the Ravens because the Texans were just shellacking the Ravens last.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Hold on. Let's see. Where is my brother in his phone?
For people who aren't aware, Brian's one of his brothers.
Hey,
anyways,
brother, what the hell's going on with your Philadelphia teams? They're all losers.
Yeah, well, I mean, Phillies at least being in the postseason, something with Major League Baseball. We take that way too much for granted, being Steelers fans and making the playoffs with. You see what happens with some of these teams. We're talking about this with the Ravens, even with the Browns. They're supposed to, stability in coaching in this front office and everything. I'm curious to see what happens at the end of this season if they stick with the same people. And if Haslam doesn't get impatient and then just with the number 1 pick wipe the slate clean and go crazy, or if this is like kind of the plan. If you remember, this guy had Kyle Shanahan in the building and was texting him what to run on the sideline years ago as offensive coordinator. So, but anyways, where was I at? The Steelers, Mike Tomlin. 27-8-1 overall against the Cleveland Browns lifetime. Kevin Stefanski, who I was just mentioning, he's 41-48 in 6 seasons as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He is 4-6 against the Steelers. Of course, we are back to your regularly scheduled programming. Brian, don't ask me what the other colors mean. Steelers are in the red. I don't even care who the other teams are right now. I think.
Well, look, there's only 3 colors. This is the most uncolored map that we've had.
Yeah.
What's blue?
Blue is not the Steelers. The Steelers are red.
Right, you told me that.
Yeah,
well, what's
I know
blue?
that. We don't care what blue is. I don't have this. It's not a legend that's baked into the thing. But I looked it up anyways. I just wanted to be an ass to you. The green is the New England Patriots and New Orleans Saints, in case you wanted to.
Well, that makes sense. That is a perfectly sensible map for New England and New Orleans to be.
The other one's not going to make sense to you because, you go all the way out to Missouri or Missouri. All the way through the 4 corners, most of the Midwest, except for North Dakota and Texas, which gets the Steelers. But these folks will get the LA Chargers and Miami Dolphins in the blue. So,
well,
I don't know what they did to get the Chargers. Makes sense.
Other than the giant patch of Steelers fans in Northern California,
which is not where Terry Fletcher lives, by the way. She's in Southern Cal, but she's got the Sunday ticket, so she's set.
But it doesn't, I am curious as to why the entire middle of the country is are Chargers and Dolphins fans?
I'm going to assume it has to do with the AFC West. That's my educated guess. So if you're a Chiefs fan, and it's kind of like, I got to see.
Right, I'll buy that because KC, it's an AFC West game.
Yeah, same with Denver. You get to see your division opponent. I think that has something to do with the TV rights. But it's 1 o'clock CBS. So if you're in the red, you are good. People in Southern Florida won't be happy because the Dolphins are on at the same time. 1 o'clock Sunday, CBS and Paramount Plus, I believe. Yes, the CBS early window. Ian Eagle, JJ Watt, once again, Evan Washburn. That seems to be the crew that they've been rolling with for a few.
Isn't this a conflict of interest? I don't think JJ can be announcing Steelers games. He's at some
on
point,
TJ's
going to do something. Yeah, TJ's going to do something in one of these games, and JJ is going to be like, yeah.
Well, he already said something, I think, in maybe it was the opener, or maybe it was the game against the Patriots, where he said, I think it was the Patriots. The Patriots game was CBS for sure, CBS coverage, and he goes, I wonder where he learned that from, because TJ was pretty absent in week 1, anyways. By the way, for our satellite radio listeners, Sirius 162 XM 232 826 on the interwebs, and we've got the Steelers 5.5 point favorites last check with an over under of 38 points. So we're expecting a low scoring affair. Yes, 38 points. So Steelers are favored by nearly a touchdown, but yet not a touchdown with a PAT, but nearly a touchdown, but yet it's 38 point over under.
I'm sitting here going, this could be a 10-6 game.
It could be ugly. It could be ugly, and we will get to that. But it'll be even uglier because one of your favorites will be officiating this one, Ron Torbert. This one. I know, man, and it feels like you get that luck of the draw when you got like a 4-1 team and a 1-4 team. It's like, how much could this guy screw it up? It's still a divisional game. Just drives me batty, right? So. Usually I do the injury report second, but I think that's pretty paramount to looking at. Well, let's look. Tale of two teams here between the Steelers. We kind of already covered a little bit of this, but let's talk a little bit. The Steelers are rested after a bye week. I said 4-1. I'm already counting my chickens before they hatch. 3-1.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And yeah. Now, 24-21 win over the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers, of course, with DK Metcalf. Aaron Rodgers just running real efficient. DK Metcalf with his first 100-yard plus receiving game. And then the Browns, they kind of had it in London maybe until they didn't. And they're rolling with rookie quarterback out of Oregon, third-round pick Dillon Gabriel, a southpaw, left-handed guy. First start over there. He got now come to Pittsburgh after facing the Vikings defense, and we'll talk about.
Put TJ on his blind side.
Technically, yeah, unless they move TJ around, then yes, TJ would be on his blind side. They have been moving him around, and then Herbig's been getting on the field. Sometimes we've seen all three of them. Maybe we'll see a little bit more. But okay, let me find some injury updates. I might actually have to bring this one up on screen because there's just so many. So for folks listening, tuning in on the audio version, bear with me as I try my best to there's a number of them right on this. So here we go. On the Steelers, we have 2 full days of practice that are in, with Jalen Ramsey having not participated, and ditto for Calvin Austin, respectively. A hamstring for Ramsey, the shoulder for Austin. Ben Skoranek returned a full participant after an illness limited him on Wednesday. Darius Slay, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and DK Metcalf, all some variety of resting veterans. Jaylen Warren's been a full participant all week. Alex Highsmith went from limited to full participant. And Joey Porter Jr., also a full participant for the full week. Steelers and Mike Tomlin are counting on... excuse me, I wanted to mute the mic. I'm still a little froggy here. But Mike Tomlin said we should expect all 3 of those gents to be on the field. Now what gets interesting is the Browns have a pretty lengthy list of injuries and changes as well.
Good Lord.
And some of these are rested. So Joel Bitonio, starting guard, rest. Shelby Harris, defensive tackle, day of rest, but then limited. Malachi, maybe that was so it says actually has not injury related and then knee. Okay. Malik Collins, defensive tackle up front. Jack Conklin, rest. Jack Conklin was somebody who was like kind of borderline not to play last week, so I can imagine they're trying to get him a little extra rest. DeMonte Casey, we remember him. Illness has hit him, and he was non-participant on Thursday. They've got a whole lot of others here. Malachi Corley, a wide receiver that they picked up not long ago, I think formerly of the Jets, limited all week. Let's see who else we've got here. Full participation for Grant Delpit, starting safety. Myles Garrett's been limited with an ankle. I'd probably take horse tranquilizer for him not to play, I would imagine.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Hall, rookie, right? Mike Hall. Was he Ohio State? I believe.
I think.
Knee. Yeah, he was a later round pick. Limited. Offensive tackle KT Leviston, who's been getting some play time, is also been limited for these first 2 days of practice. David Njoku, a full participant. Ethan Posick, from limited to full participant, he is the starting center. Raheem Sanders, a reserve running back, returned to practice on Thursday. And Denzel Ward's been dealing with a hip, but he also returned to full participation. That's why I had to put it on the screen. I couldn't even talk my way through all of it. And I'm hoping I caught everybody that was on there. But yeah, the Cleveland Browns, they're feeling a little bit of the injury bug right now.
Well, I was going to say that's a big long list of nothing.
I mean, most of those guys are going to play that we're talking about. Like KT Leviston has been playing as a starting left tackle, but they also just made a trade for Cam Robinson, which is let's talk about trades.
Yes, we miss out on Wacko Flacco.
Yeah, Brooke Pryor was asking
until next week. And then we get him.
Well, until Thursday. Brooke Pryor from ESPN, Steelers beat reporter, she was asking in Tomlin's Tuesday presser if Mike Tomlin still had the same feeling of, oh, we don't want Flacco to come in this game, the same way he had blurted that out about the Indianapolis Colts last year in week 4, which, you know, in Tomlin says, no, there were two different styles of quarterbacks with Anthony Richardson, who clearly you could see the level of play of Richardson with even Daniel Jones going in there. And I don't know what that says. I don't know what it says for the Giants, because then they put Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo in there, and they're off to the races too. But that's a whole other story. 2 trades that impact this game. Maybe some, maybe not. Flacco is already benched. You don't have any threat of seeing him in Cleveland. He has been shipped off to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are desperate for something. And with 3 days of practice,
boy, are they.
They got to go to Green Bay, face a Packers team who just came off a bye, and then get ready for the Steelers raid after with Thursday night. Flacco's going to have about total of 5 practices if he's lucky to try and get on page with that offense. That's something we will talk about. Well, I'm going to have to do a combo show probably on Monday to preview the other one, unless we keep it short. Then Greg Newsome, starting corner for the Cleveland Browns, gone, traded for another corner whose name now escapes me. I did have it off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to find it now on the transaction wire, but I'm not exactly positive that their new acquisition is Tyson Campbell. That's who it was. Tyson Campbell traded for Greg Newsome. Now, Newsome was, we'll give Newsome some respect. He's probably going to get paid. He'll get a second contract somewhere by someone. Tyson Campbell had already done that and hasn't been so hot. He's been getting beat a lot in Jacksonville. It's a kind of a head scratcher. I don't know if he's going to be any kind of factor in this game, or if they're gonna pull up somebody else. There might be someone that might be eligible to come off of injured reserve as well. They were talking about Emerson even filling in that slot, possibly. I was hearing that somewhere, which I don't know. I don't know that makes a whole ton of sense, but we'll see if he's available, and maybe that's the reason why they pull that. Otherwise, this could be, it's probably gonna be Ward following around DK. We'll talk about our big matchups, but for a defense that's been one of the best in the league as far as limiting opponents, right? The Cleveland Browns they're 21st in points allowed. They gave up some to the Vikings finally. They hadn't been giving up or been very leaky in the points department. But defensively against the pass, they're only 4th in the league so far with an average of 172 a game. First overall against the run with 75. Although I felt like the Vikings were getting some chunks there, but then again, so were the Browns on the Vikings defense. So
this will be an interesting game for us in the sense of the run game. I think we can come out of this with 20 yards.
There you go. There's the key. Well, there's a key matchup for you, Brian. You got the front four, which includes Myles Garrett, includes Mason Graham, the rookie. The Cleveland Browns, they're getting production out of the rookies, and particularly on defense. They're going to have to be able to throw the ball efficiently, and possibly the amount of pressure. It's not like they're getting home the quarterbacks a lot, but we still don't know the Steelers' offensive line. Are they going to have any rust coming out of the bye? So Aaron Rodgers is going to have to deliver the ball quickly, efficiently, in short yardage situations, like he's been saying. You know, it's not been open down the field because they've been playing like a cover two. Can they try and pick apart? Who's the other wide receiver that's going to pick apart whatever matchup? If it is Emerson coming back, if it is Camel, the new guy coming over from the Jaguars, some type of safeties or nickels that are on maybe one of these tight ends, Freiermuth or Jonnu Smith, finally gets involved. That's what's it's gonna take a village here, because it's two teams that are very familiar with each other. Could be a defensive battle for this one.
We say that, so of course it'll be like 44-45. But I don't believe that for a second. I really do. I think you take the under on this game if you're going to bet. I just don't see a lot of points. I don't see the Steelers scoring a lot of points. I don't see the Browns scoring a lot of points. Could be a 14-10 game. Could be a 10-6 game. I don't think anybody breaks 20.
Yeah, they added a bunch of corners. Also, the Cleveland Browns on the transaction wire. Aside from Tyson Campbell, Amir Speed was placed on the practice squad injured, and then they added Dom Jones to the active roster from the practice squad. This was just 2 days ago, and then D. Williams is who was signed to replace Speed. This was after trading for Flacco and Tyson Campbell, so they've got a lot of new parts in the secondary. Whether or not the Steelers can take advantage of that will be a whole other story, considering the Browns depth chart. Again, another rookie. You've got Carson Schweissiger out of UCLA, another familiar face in the linebacker core, Devin Bush. So we'll see how. I mean, you got guys that are banged up. Myles Garrett and Malik Collins are both, and Shelby Harris, who's a reserve guy there, but long time veteran of the NFL. We're gonna see how that ends up impacting this game, because you've got guys that are banged up, who made this trip, had to adjust to do all the things we had to do. The Steelers got an extra week to do it. So you're also playing at home. We're going to see if these things have any bearing, any factor in this game. Jaylen Warren should be back on offense, but defensively, as we mentioned, Joey Porter and Alex Highsmith, that'll be huge, because it looks like Jalen Ramsey probably... I don't know that Jalen Ramsey is going to be around for the next year.
Not two DNPs,
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way, and that's a big blow, but at least if you have Porter back, you still got Jabril Peppers, you still got Chuck Clark, you still got Juan Thornhill, you've got some safety help, maybe play a little more traditionally, because they're going to have to do that. I don't expect Dillon Gabriel to light up the scoreboard necessarily. He's got Bond, he's got Judy, he's got Njoku, he's got Harold Fannin, yet another rookie, the tight end, scored his first touchdown last week against the Vikings. So they've got some guys that can spread the ball around too. But this team is built to run the football, and it's been the Quinshon Judkins show as of late, a guy that we're very familiar with, particularly even with the Ohio State shirt that Brian's got on there. So I was going to pull up Judkins. He's the team leader with 72 carries for 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's also caught a few passes out of the backfield. He's by and far the bell cow for this team. I think he's touched the ball like 40 plus times in the last 2 games. Joe Flacco, of course, is still the leading passer for this team, which is kind of funny. And Jerry Jeudy, just 15 catches for 197 yards through 5 games. So it just goes to show you how much of a lack of a passing offense there was there with Flacco under center. And I don't know how much they trust Gabriel to just start slinging the ball around as well. It might just be a case of there's a lot of newness on both sides of the... It's still tough for me to say, because I don't know what the secondary makeup's going to be. I don't know if anybody's going to be ruled out on Cleveland's side as far as their front 7. But there could be some newness on that side of the ball, and that may dictate just everything and dictate the whole pace here.
Yeah, could be. Like I said, this is a game that makes me nervous, simply because it's our perceived weaknesses play into their perceived strengths, right? And you look at it and you feel like we're going to be one-dimensional in this game. We're not going to be able to run the ball. We're going against the number one run defense in the league. We're not going to be able to run the ball. So, we're going to have to throw the ball all the time. If we have to throw the ball all the time, are they going to have enough to, what are they going to do to add protection so that, Rodgers has some more time to throw the ball? Are the receivers going to be open? This is a game that makes me nervous. So that's all I can tell you.
Well, let's go to the X factors. This is what you said when we were in Dublin. Feed DK the ball. I think that's got to be one of the big things here. And we saw what happened. It wasn't like necessarily like somebody said a quick slant or a short pass or whatever. This was pretty much, they got to get this kind of involvement. Stretch these linebackers out. I feel confident enough with somebody like, you've got a rookie like Schweisinger, you've got Devin Bush. If you could keep Myles Garrett out of this by using Spencer Anderson or utilizing Darnell Washington, I do think that the tackle play has improved with the Steelers, but I'm trying to think like, who have they faced that's been a major pass rushing force the Jets have some guys, right?
Jets have some guys. I mean, the Patriots just have like right now a bunch of just you don't knows. You don't know the guy, you don't know their names. Seahawks are a little bit in that category as well, but it's not like there's been a Myles Garrett, a Micah Parsons, a Mason Crosby, a Trey Hendrickson, somebody like that lined up on the other side of the field to challenge Broderick Jones or Troy Fautanu. That said, Garrett's got 4 sacks for the season, and of course I would love to see the sack win whatever rate the PFF always uses and all that other stuff, because I've been watching these games and I know that you get some cheap ones, so that TJ does sometimes too. So it's like I don't want to just draw it there, but you still have to respect him as a player. He usually isn't going to give up on plays. Jim Schwartz's defense is known to be opportunistic. Aaron Rodgers has been playing pretty well at the keep away game, and the Steelers credit the offense and offensive line in the game plans. They've kept Rodgers fairly upright. I know we were cringing that first play out the gate when they were over in Ireland, and he got sacked immediately. And it was because there was definitely some type of communication, or just they weren't on the right time zone yet, or whatever. With Mason McCormick, it came over through there. Could have been Zach Frazier, could have been Troy Fautanu, could have been somebody's assignment that was missed. So Jaylen Warren, good to have him back past pro, but we saw what Kenneth Gainwell can do. I don't expect or anticipate that the Steelers will. We haven't had a 100-yard rusher yet this season. I don't think that this. I don't think they're going to have one tomorrow.
No,
or whatever. It's not tomorrow, but Sunday.
However, the Vikings were able to pile up 140 yards on the ground. And that's with the hodgepodge of guys that were basically Jordan Mason. And when I saw that and they just started to punch the Browns in the mouth. I'll retract this. I'm sorry. Browns had 140 yards. They had 97, and then the Lions had 109. So they've been getting closer to cracking that shell, because the Bengals and the Ravens combined for under 100 rushing yards in the first 2 weeks of the season, which is kind of hard to believe. But then again, the Ravens, I don't even think Lamar threw for very much in that game. The Ravens were just all over them. It was 41-17. So people have been knocking at the door and trying to see, on the flip side, can the Steelers contain Quinshon Judkins and not make him look like Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders running all over the field? I don't know.
It's a good test for where we're at, right? I mean, look, we've got Derek Harmon's playing now, so it's a good test to see what the run game looks like. I mean, for many years, Cleveland's been a run first kind of game or team. Nick Chubb, and now they've got Quinshon Judkins. We just have to wait and see what our defensive line and what our plan is, how they're going to scheme against it. I don't know, right? It felt like they got better against Minnesota. It felt like they made improvements in the run game against Minnesota, but they still had a couple of breakaways. So I think it boils down still to communication. You still have some moving pieces in there. Harmon's a rookie. You've got newer guys. Keanu Benton's playing better, or appeared to play better in the last game. Let's see how that continues to progress. I'm cautiously optimistic that they can not look like a fishing net with 7,000 holes in it, and can contain the run a little bit. That's my hope. If they let Quinshon Judkins run all over them, they're going to lose the game. Pure and simple.
Yeah, they cannot let him dictate the pace. They're going to have to bottle him up. They're going to have to force some 3-and-outs. I was going to look at, just by comparison's sake, what the Browns kind of did against the Vikings as far as possession. And they had some scoring drives. They had one that was 7 plays for 47 yards and a touchdown. Their only possession in the third quarter, they ate about half of the quarter, 8 minutes plus, with 13 plays for 74 yards and a TD. Everything else, with the exception of a field goal drive, that was actually 14 plays, 58 yards to end the half. It was a hurry-up offense. Smites, or however you say his name, the rookie kicker, another good new guy on this Browns roster. They had a ton of picks. You think the Steelers are stockpiling picks? That's all they're doing right now for next season too, and maybe in an effort to move up. But they had a field goal on that drive before the end of the half, but they punted 8 times, 4 in each half. So if the Steelers can make those same type of effort on defense, that would be nice. Likewise, you look at what the Browns did defensively against the Vikings. They were able to force two fumbles, and then there was also the missed field goal that hit the tripwire over in London. So
yeah,
Brian, where's the bobblehead at? We've got to make some predictions.
Here he is.
All right, what do we got?
Are they going to win, or are they going to lose? He says no.
Well, I don't know what that means. The question: are they going to lose?
They're going to lose. He says no. He says the Browns win the game.
Oh, that's just throw that thing in the trash. Pop the head right off of it. We're done with the bobblehead. It's good. I think it'll be a tight game, but I do think at some point ball security comes into play, and Dillon Gabriel or maybe even Judkins, maybe a lesser extent. I think the Steelers are going to force some turnovers. I don't think the Steelers are going to turn it over as frequently. I think Rodgers plays it close to the vest. I think even if you have Warren or Gainwell running for 2.5, 3 yards a carry, I think Arthur Smith's still going to try and force, that wrong shaped peg into the wrong shaped hole, just to try and set something up downfield, maybe some play action or otherwise. I mean, we saw the Browns play this pretty close to the Packers. Packers shot themselves in the foot because they turned the ball over. Steelers just simply don't do that, and I don't see Gabriel doing much more than we've seen in the past from other quarterbacks, not only from the Browns, but even from the Steelers side. But we've seen how those games play out as well. I don't like Cleveland. It's a home game, so I'm going with the home team. Screw the bobblehead. I think Rodgers throws
the bobblehead and I will be disagreeing on this one.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, even though this game worries me, I still think the Steelers can pull this out, provided 2 things happen. Right? They don't let Quinshon Judkins run all over them, and they don't turn the ball over. In other words, they just have to play their game. If the turnovers are even, like 0-0, if nobody turns the ball over, I think Steelers have a hard time winning this game.
Yeah, they're going to play time of possession, maybe.
Yeah, Steelers win games when they get turnovers, right? Their defense is predicated on being a turnover machine. We've talked about it in the past. If they get on the field and they're stuck on the field for extended periods of time, eventually it'll start to wear them down. If we can get some turnovers, if we can get some short fields, I think the Steelers can pull this game out. I don't think it's going to be easy. Just blatantly stated, I don't think it's going to be easy. This is not a pushover team, and nobody should be viewing it that way, regardless of what their record is.
I hate looking ahead. But would you feel you were more concerned with playing the Browns at home right now, or playing the Bengals on the road on Thursday
Browns
night?
At home.
Yeah.
It's not even hard.
I know. It feels that way. It feels that way, even though the Browns, the lesser record. I have the same kind of feeling. They're like a team that always plays tough within the division, no matter who they face. They game plan pretty well against their division opponents. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And it's hard to just compare them against like whatever with the Vikings, whatever the Vikings did. But I will throw out that Carson Wentz was 25 of 34 for 73.5%, 236 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times in that game that was in London. So if Carson Wentz could do that, I think Aaron Rodgers can also do some damage. By the way, Dillon Gabriel in his debut was 19 of 33. That was 57.6% completion percentage, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. So
my bold prediction for the game: Shedeur Sanders plays.
Ooh, maybe. So I'm wondering just maybe if and when that happens. I think that the Browns could keep Dillon Gabriel upright, but being a smaller guy, he takes like the wrong tumble. And all of a sudden, you're one step. Now, you think Shedeur is going to play. Stefanski hasn't committed as to whether or not he's even the backup. You've got a guy on the practice squad, Bailey Zappi, that might just be elevated and right into the backup role over a rookie.
I'm just assuming that since he's been the third emergency quarterback, he's going to become the backup. If Bailey Zappi jumps up, well, then my prediction is off the board. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. They went from having... you have Watson who's still floating around and I don't know. He's trying to make a comeback still. I don't know if they allow him. I don't know what's going on with that. This contract they're paying him.
He should just go sit on the couch and watch TV.
That's what he's been doing, I think. But
he got $200 million. Just go enjoy the money.
$230 million or whatever. He's 30 years old now too. It's just everything's starting to slide, and I don't know. I
had $230 million when I was 30 years old, I'd never work another day in my life.
Well, it's probably what he was thinking as soon as he signed in Cleveland. So,
yeah, and it sort of has turned out that way, right? He's barely worked another day in his life.
Yeah, he hasn't played very many games at all. I don't like. We may be talking about him when you get the rematch later on down the road in Cleveland. We don't know. But at the beginning of this season, they traded for Kenny Pickett. They got him from the Eagles. And he was penciled in to probably compete to be the starter. Then they signed Joe Flacco. They draft Sanders. They drafted Gabriel and then drafted Sanders. And that wasn't the whole stable either. They still had Snoop Huntley, that was formerly of the Ravens. And I'm missing somebody else. They had 6 guys. They had 6 different guys. They had... they've got DTR. They had traded him away too, and then somehow they had to bring in Bailey Zappi, and I don't know what else that this team's planning on doing. I don't know if they're very serious about winning, if they're serious about developing those players, if they're trying to play some draft lottery like you think, or maybe they're like, hey, if we give these guys a little bit of playing time, see if Gabriel's got it. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, shucks, we lost a few games. Let's see if Sanders has it. Oh, shucks. Oh, well, we're in prime position. We got the Jaguars pick. We could maybe get some other quarterback. But, excuse me, on the flip side of that, maybe one of those guys pans out, and then it's just they could build around them. And I don't really know. I can tell you that Joe Flacco wasn't going to be the future there. I can tell you Bailey Zappi will not be the future there. So they're going to have to roll with what they got there. And it's not unlike the Steelers in some cases where I guess Garrett's really the last man standing. You got Denzel Ward, maybe a handful of others. There's not as much carryover, but not much different from the Steelers trying to like put a lot of their chips in the pile to get a chip for, TJ Watt, for Cam Hayward, and some of the guys that have been playing for a while on the Steelers side. So we shall see how this one plays out Sunday, 1 o'clock, CBS, once again. That'll do it for us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Brian, any other closing thoughts for this Sunday?
No.
Okay. Maybe we could do a little Elmo dance on a Victory Monday, hopefully. It is the game that makes you nervous. It is probably the fan base I talk the most smack with. Of course, I've got all kinds of friends and family that are Browns fans. There'll be people that'll start texting me. If the Browns go up like 14-0 in the first quarter, I will get texts from people that I have not talked to that especially I've not talked to or have not had a football conversation with. I don't know which one's worse. If I don't talk to somebody for 8 months, but then if I talk to somebody daily and they refuse to talk football with me and then all of a sudden start talking trash, that's what happens. That's why I have a disdain for the Cleveland Browns.
I'll get texts from my sister-in-law if in fact the Browns go up 14-0, and it'll just be, hey, how do those Browns look today? Oh wait, who are they playing? I forgot.
Yeah, and don't count your chickens before they hatch. I had somebody that did that like a year or two ago, and I'm in stadium in game, and it's like this is like the second quarter, and I'm just like, just wait, it's boiling, it's not simmering over, and then the Steelers come back and win, and you're like, got the whole Simpsons Nelson thing going, like. To all the plethora, and I'm talking about, it's not just one person. I get like 6, 8, 10 people that just start blowing up my phone, and it's annoying. So we shall see.
Well, I don't have that many friends to begin with, so
well, it's probably better that you don't in some cases. So, but you still have to deal with Eagles fans over that way. So
I do.
Yeah, they're annoying enough. Now that says enough. Folks, once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for joining us as per usual for this pre-game podcast. Join us again early next week when we look back and see what happened and see how right we were, because we usually are, right? Anyways, that'll do it for us today. My name's Joe. His name's Brian. Until next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.